I must admit, when we heard that this debate was granted, I thought long and hard about what I could add or what I could say or what I could do to take part in the debate, whether I even should. And already, as we've gone through this debate, many of the questions that spring to mind have been asked, the process questions about where, when, why, how, etc., far more eloquently and far more in detail than I could put down. Because in essence, it does come down to the fact that this was a political appointment, and so the PM is the person who should carry the risk. That's the job. If it's someone else's, then we need to know who that is. So stepping back a little bit, I thought about, well, what would the man and woman on the Hinckley High Street say if I talked to them about it? Because they do talk about it, and it does hit hard to them. And they have many of the process questions that we have as well. And I reflect on the fact that stepping back, this to me seems a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, if I'm being honest. I'm acutely aware that the sword of hypocrisy has a blade on both sides, and swung heavily in this House can hit both sides equally. But it's not the wound that can kill, it's the subsequent infection afterwards.
Cover up.
That is the problem that we're seeing here today. And so when the member for Rugby stands up and points in the past and talks about context, he is right. Context is important to the public in this debate, and we are paying the price on this side of the House because of some of the decisions that have happened before us. And it wasn't the fact that a previous Prime Minister ate cake, it was about the fact that it was then covered up. And we had to come to this House to say there was a report that we felt the Prime Minister lied. Now, the new Prime Minister came in saying there will be change. There will be something different. That was his words. It was even on the lectern, time for change. Here lies the problem. Because when the Minister who was Transport Secretary was found out to have committed fraud, when the Anti-Corruption Minister was investigated for corruption, when the Homelessness Minister had to resign because of making people homeless, and the Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary hadn't paid their tax, it wasn't because the Prime Minister pushed them out there. It was because the media in this place did its job to hold them to account. And that's the difference that I'm looking for today. I will.
I'm grateful to my honourable friends. Building on that point, does he find it absolutely vital that if our right honourable friend, the Leader of the Opposition, hadn't taken down the Prime Minister step by step last week, that we may be going to a recess with this scrutiny still not happening?
Spot on, and I think it's respect should be given to many people who've raised this, including the Leader of the Opposition, but many in the media, many people on the backbenches on both sides of the House who have also raised concerns. And this is my primary point, because the Prime Minister said he wanted to do something different. Well, what could he do different? He could come to this House and tell people the truth, answer those questions. There is nothing stopping him from delivering a statement himself, putting himself up in front of scrutiny to answer those questions. He could convene a committee for the House. I'm sure many would be happy to attend to answer the questions that are put before him. I will.
Yeah, it's a point that keeps being raised time and again. We talk about this 3-week gap now. But the reality is key select committees can continue through the recess to investigate this issue, which they should do, and call the Prime Minister to give evidence so that we don't wait 3 weeks in the hope that it dies. That's the key.
My right honourable friend is absolutely spot on. But there is a key difference, actually, I would say, because the Prime Minister said he would do things differently. The leadership means he could come forward himself to be here at the dispatch box. Because I have a huge amount of respect for the Minister who's going to have to defend this. But he is not the decision maker. He is not the risk holder when it comes to this debate and this decision. And therein lies the point. And this is why I'm sad today, because I think this is what the public will see. They will look on and say that a new Prime Minister came in on a landslide majority saying he's going to do things differently by his own standards that he set, and has chosen not to. He's ignored the questions, he's answered the media, and his one outing to it says, I wouldn't have made the decision if I knew the information. That isn't good enough for the public to understand. So I finish where I started to say, I really do think today is a Pyrrhic victory, a hollow victory. But I do live in hope, Madam Deputy Speaker. I live in hope that on the day that the government is introducing the Public Office Accountability Bill, I'm hopeful that the Prime Minister could still lead the change that he set out. He could still live by his own standards that he set for himself and his government. And he could still now clear up once and for all exactly what happened. And I live in hope that that might be the case.
Yeah, well done.